Do you ever feel like your voice gets stuck? Maybe you overthink what you say. Maybe you water down your truth. Or maybe you've been told you're too much or not enough for so long that now you don't know how to speak without questioning yourself. What if that block isn't in your throat, but it's in your birth chart? Mercury, the planet of communication, your mindset, and your voice holds the key to how you think, process, and express yourself. But every Mercury sign has a shadow, a hidden fear, wound, or story that silences your truth. In this video, we're diving into how your Mercury sign shapes your mindset and your voice, the specific block your Mercury sign carries, how this block shows up in daily life, and powerful healing steps to help you reclaim your voice and speak with confidence, clarity, and courage. Because your voice matters, and it's time that you trust it. So grab your birth chart, find your Mercury sign, which is the zodiac sign that Mercury was in when you were born, and let's begin the journey of healing your relationship with your voice.
Mercury in Aries. So Mercury is the planet of communication, mindset, and expression. It governs your inner voice, how you process ideas, and how you share them with the world. With Mercury in Aries, your thoughts move fast. Your voice carries fire, and your words are designed to cut through noise and get to the point. You don't sugarcoat. You don't overthink. You know what you want to say, and your instinct is to say it now. Your voice is a tool for leadership, initiation, and igniting action. You're wired to speak directly, often saying what others are too afraid to. You bring clarity, courage, and momentum to conversations. But this fire also burns hot. When unbalanced, Mercury in Aries can struggle with impatience, reactionary speech, or self-doubt after the fact. You might rush to speak before fully thinking it through, or worse, hold back your words completely, fearing they'll come out too harsh or cause conflict. Your greatest challenge is trusting that your voice has power without having to fight for it. The shadow side of Mercury in Aries is rooted in fear of confrontation, impulsivity, and the wound of not being heard or respected. So you may carry a subconscious belief that if I don't speak up immediately, I'll lose my chance. If I don't dominate the conversation, I'll be ignored. Or if I speak too honestly, I'll hurt someone, or they'll come for me. Because your thoughts move so quickly and passionately, there's often inner conflict between the need to express and the fear of backlash. So this can lead to one of two extremes. First is overspeaking, where you blurt things out only to regret how it came across later. Or underspeaking, where you hold back, fearing you'll be too much or cause conflict. This block is often rooted in early experiences where your directness was punished. Maybe you were labeled rude or too blunt, or were shut down for speaking your truth. So now you either push harder or shut down entirely, depending on how safe you feel. The result of this is that you either overcompensate, becoming louder or more forceful, or you silence yourself in situations where your voice is actually needed most. Now, this block can show up in your daily life in a few ways. One is you may interrupt or speak too fast, fearing someone else will take over the conversation. You may regret speaking too bluntly, replaying situations where you feel you came across as too harsh. You may hold back opinions to avoid starting arguments, even when something matters deeply to you. You may feel frustrated when people don't listen, either reacting with anger or withdrawing entirely. You may also self-silence in moments where your leadership or initiative could have made a difference. This creates a loop where you crave expression but fear the messiness or consequences that come with it. Now, to begin to heal and align with your Mercury and Aries, the first step is to challenge your fire into focused expression. Your thoughts move fast, so give them a container. Practice slowing down before responding. Use breath work. Pause and choose clarity over speed. Your voice is most powerful when it's direct and intentional. Next is to rebuild trust in your voice. Practice affirming yourself after speaking. Instead of second-guessing, remind yourself, my truth is valid. I trust what I said. The more you reinforce this self-trust, the less you'll spiral into regret or overcorrection. Next is to express without needing to win. Mercury in Aries can feel like every conversation is a battlefield. Instead, focus on sharing, not sparring. Ask yourself, am I speaking to connect or to conquer? Next is to speak from desire, not just defense. Instead of waiting until you're frustrated or triggered to express, practice sharing desires and thoughts proactively. This helps your voice feel empowered, not reactionary. And finally, soften your delivery, but keep your power. You don't have to soften your message, just your tone. Use I statements or curiosity to communicate with both fire and grace. For example, you can say, I feel strongly about this. Can we explore it together? A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Aries is, my voice is clear, confident, and calm. I express my truth with courage, knowing I am heard and respected. If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this spoke to you and you're ready for more, there's a whole lineup of offerings waiting for you in the description box below, all crafted to help you rise into your next level. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury in Taurus. So Mercury is your mindset, voice, and the way that you express yourself. It governs how you think, process information, and share your truth with the world. When Mercury is in Taurus, your communication style is steady, deliberate, and rooted in practicality. You think things through before speaking. And when you do speak, your words carry weight and meaning. Your voice is soothing, grounded, and dependable. You're not here for fluff or empty conversation. You're here to share ideas that matter. You may not be the fastest thinker in the room, but you're often the most solid, the one who brings stability and substance to discussions. Your thoughts tend to build slowly, like a song that unfolds in layers. When you speak, people feel your words in their body. They carry a calm certainty that others crave. But the thing is, because your mind works slow and steady, the shadow side often creeps in with self-doubt, fear of inadequacy, or a belief that your voice isn't valuable unless it's perfect. You might hold back, overthinking what you say or doubting your contribution entirely. At your highest, Mercury in Taurus offers grounded wisdom and trustworthy communication. But to reach that level, you have to release the fear that your words aren't enough. The shadow side of Mercury in Taurus is rooted in rigidity, fear of being wrong, and undervaluing your own voice. So you may carry subconscious beliefs like, I need to sound polished or I shouldn't speak at all. If I don't have the perfect answer, I should stay quiet. It's safer to hold my thoughts than risk being misunderstood or dismissed. Because Mercury in Taurus moves slowly and values security, you may fear jumping into conversations too fast, feeling like others might outpace you. So instead, you may retreat into silence, overthink, or stick to what feels safe, even if your soul is craving to share something deeper. You may also struggle with rigid thinking, getting stuck in the belief that your ideas have to be proven, logical, or valuable enough before they're worth saying. This keeps you in over-editing, over-preparing, and often under-sharing. The deeper wound here is a fear of not sounding smart enough, capable enough, or valuable enough. So you withhold your wisdom, fearing it won't be received, appreciated, or understood. This block to your voice can show up in your daily life in several ways. So you may stay quiet in group settings, overthinking whether your idea is good enough to share. You may delay speaking up, missing opportunities because you're still mentally preparing. You may feel stuck in your mindset, holding tightly to your beliefs, even when you know growth requires flexibility. You may dismiss your own creativity, thinking, that's too simple. Who would care? You may avoid uncomfortable conversations, preferring peace over potential disruption, even if something needs to be said. You may also struggle with imposter syndrome when expressing yourself, fearing that you won't sound knowledgeable enough. You may also second guess after speaking, wishing you'd phrased things differently, or wondering if you should have stayed silent. This block keeps you holding back the fullness of your voice, as if your words have to be perfect or nothing. To begin to heal and align with your Mercury and Taurus, the first step is to value simplicity. Your words don't have to be groundbreaking to be valuable. Mercury in Taurus shines when you trust that simple truths are powerful. Speak even when the message feels too basic. Those grounded insights are exactly what people need. Remember, people crave calm, steady voices in a chaotic world. Next is to practice expressing before you feel ready. Mercury in Taurus wants to perfect things before sharing, but healing comes when you lean into imperfect expression. Speak up in the moment, even if it feels messy. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Next is to connect your voice to your body. Taurus rules the body, so anchoring your words physically helps release tension. So try this. Place your hand on your throat or your heart when speaking or journaling. Feel the vibration of your truth. Let your body remind you that your voice is real and grounded. Next is to challenge the not enough narrative. When you catch yourself holding back because it doesn't sound smart enough, pause and ask, what if this is exactly what needs to be said? Affirm your worth. My voice is valuable because it's mine. The more you challenge this block, the more your voice becomes anchored in self-worth. And finally, embrace flexibility in thought. Mercury in Taurus can get stuck in rigid thinking. Practice listening to different perspectives without needing to prove or defend your own. So ask questions like, what else could be true? This builds mental flexibility, helping your voice grow without feeling like it's under threat. A great affirmation for you having your Mercury in Taurus is, my voice is steady, strong, and valuable. I trust that my words carry power, even when they're simple. I am worthy of being heard. If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And be sure to share this with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this lit a spark and you're craving more, be sure to check out the offerings I've linked below in the description box, which are all crafted to support your journey into your next season. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury and Gemini. So Mercury is the planetary ruler of Gemini. So when it lands here, it's at home. This placement gives you a quick mind, sharp wit, and an incredible ability to adapt, learn, and connect ideas. Your communication style is fluid, playful, and curious. You're not meant to stay stuck in one lane. You're here to explore, question, and express multiple layers of thought. Your mind moves fast. You can see both sides of a situation, shift perspectives, and connect with anyone. Your gift is making complex ideas relatable and helping others see new possibilities. But here's the thing. Because you have so many thoughts, so much to say, the shadow often creeps in with scattered focus, overthinking, and the fear that your voice is too much or not enough. You might speak quickly to keep up with your thoughts, or hold back, wondering if your message has real substance. At your highest, Mercury in Gemini is a voice of connection, curiosity, and clarity. But to reach that level, you have to release the fear that your voice needs to prove something, to be valuable. The shadow of Mercury in Gemini lies in mental overload, overthinking, inconsistency, and self-doubt about being too scattered. So you may carry subconscious beliefs such as, I need to sound smart to be taken seriously. I know too little about too many things. I'm not an expert. If I can't say it perfectly, maybe I shouldn't say it at all. Because your mind moves so fast and you process so much information, you can easily fall into the trap of talking in circles, losing your point, or over-explaining. And when that happens, you second-guess yourself, thinking, did I even make sense? The deeper wound here is the fear of not being understood or respected, feeling like people tune you out or dismiss your ideas as superficial or too much. So you either overcompensate, talking more, trying to sound smart or put together, or you underspeak, keeping thoughts to yourself, fearing they don't have enough weight. This creates a loop where your voice feels scattered, ungrounded, or trapped beneath self-judgment. Now, this block can show up in your daily life in several ways. So, you may talk yourself out of sharing ideas, thinking they aren't deep or valuable enough. You may over-explain, trying to sound polished or avoid being misunderstood. You may second-guess after conversations, wondering if you were clear or too much. You may switch topics quickly, fearing others will lose interest, but end up feeling scattered. You may play small in conversations with people who seem more authoritative or grounded. Or you may hide behind humor or lightness to avoid sharing deeper thoughts or feelings. This block keeps your voice trapped between brilliance and insecurity, like your thoughts are always racing ahead of your confidence. To begin to heal and reclaim your voice, the first step is to ground your words in presence. Your mind will always move fast. That's your gift. But your power comes when you pause, breathe, and let your words catch up with your heart. So before speaking, ask, how can I make this simple and true? Next is to trust your curiosity. Mercury in Gemini can feel like it has to prove its intelligence, but your curiosity is your brilliance. The more you ask questions, explore, and share ideas without needing to be the expert, the more magnetic your voice becomes. Next is to practice finishing your thoughts. Your mind moves quickly, but give your thoughts space to complete. So journal or record voice notes where you express one idea fully without jumping to the next. This builds confidence in your voice's flow. Next is to reframe scattered as multidimensional. Your voice doesn't have to fit in a box. Instead of shaming yourself for being all over the place, affirm, I hold many truths, and my voice bridges worlds. Own the multifaceted nature of your communication. And finally, speak for connection, not performance. Instead of worrying about how smart or put together you sound, focus on connecting with your audience. So ask yourself, am I expressing to impress or to connect? The more you prioritize connection, the more your voice lands. A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Gemini is, my voice is free, fluid, and enough. I trust my curiosity, express with confidence, and know my words connect and inspire. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if you're feeling this and want to go even deeper, I've got some powerful offerings waiting for you in the description box below, which are all designed to help you fully step into your next chapter. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury in Cancer. So Mercury represents your mindset, communication style, and inner voice. It's how you process thoughts, share your ideas, and express what's on your heart. But when Mercury is in Cancer, communication isn't just mental, it's emotional. With this placement, your words carry feeling. You don't just talk to share facts. You talk to connect, to nurture, to protect what's sacred to you. Your voice is deeply tied to your emotions, memories, and intuition. You may naturally sense what others need to hear and offer comfort, understanding, and support. But here's the paradox. While your voice carries healing energy, it's often the very thing you feel afraid to share. You want to be heard, but only if it feels safe. When emotions rise or conversations feel too exposed, you may shut down, withdraw, or wrap your words in softness to avoid conflict. At your highest, Mercury in Cancer speaks with compassion, wisdom, and emotional depth. But to embody this fully, you must heal the fear that your emotional truth will make you too vulnerable to be heard. The shadow side of Mercury in Cancer lies in emotional protection, fear of exposure, and carrying old wounds in your voice. So you may hold subconscious beliefs such as, if I speak my feelings, I'll get hurt. My emotions are too much for others to handle. It's safer to stay silent than risk being misunderstood. Because Cancer energy is so sensitive and protective, you might fear that expressing yourself too openly will lead to judgment, rejection, or emotional harm. So you wrap your words in layers of caution, or you don't speak at all when something truly matters. So this creates a pattern of speaking through hints or suggestions instead of clear, direct expression. This can look like avoiding difficult conversations, especially in close relationships, as well as a pattern of holding back vulnerable truths, only expressing them when you know you're safe, which might rarely feel true. So your voice becomes a shield rather than a channel for your truth. Now, this block can show up in several ways in your day-to-day life. So one may be where you swallow your feelings in conversations to avoid upsetting others. You may overthink emotional conversations, replaying them in your head long after they're over. You may avoid direct conflict, even when boundaries need to be set or truths need to be spoken. Your inner voice may be overly protective, telling you to stay small or stay quiet to avoid emotional harm. You may use humor, caretaking, or emotional deflection as a way to communicate indirectly, keeping your real feelings hidden. Or you may often feel like people don't truly understand you because you rarely feel safe enough to share what's really going on inside. This block keeps you guarded in your communication, making it harder for others to really know you, even when you deeply crave emotional connection. Now, to begin to heal and reclaim your Mercury and Cancer voice, the first step is to validate your own feelings first. Healing starts with you. Before sharing with anyone else, practice validating your own emotions. Journal, speak out loud, or write letters to yourself. Practice saying, "I feel this way, and that's okay." This helps to soften the fear that no one will understand you. Next is to express in layers. You don't have to share everything all at once. Ease into expression. Start with small truths, slowly building up to the deeper ones. The more you practice, the safer it feels to share. Next is to create emotional boundaries. Part of why you hold back is because you fear emotional overwhelm. Set boundaries by choosing when and how you share, but commit to speaking even when it's hard. And remember, expressing is for you, not just for them. Next is to let emotion be a strength, not a liability. Your emotional voice is your superpower. Instead of fearing that your feelings make you too much, reframe them as the heart of your message. Practice saying things like, "I feel strongly about this, and I need to share it." And finally, reclaim your right to be heard. Healing happens when you trust that you deserve to take up space, even emotionally. Practice speaking up in safe spaces first, such as with a trusted friend, therapist, or journaling, until your voice feels anchored in self-trust. A great affirmation for you for your Mercury in Cancer is, my voice is safe, my emotions are valid, and my truth deserves to be heard. I express with courage, knowing my feelings are a source of strength. If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if you're loving this energy and want to go even deeper, I've linked some powerful offerings below to guide you in your next chapter. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury in Leo. So Mercury is your inner messenger. It shapes the way you think, how you express yourself, how you share your ideas, and how you process the world around you. It's not just about words. It's the story you tell yourself and the story you tell the world. When Mercury is in Leo, your voice was made to be heard. This placement brings boldness, creativity, charisma, and leadership to your communication style. You're not here to whisper your truth. You're here to light up the room with it. Your thoughts are infused with fire, passion, and heart. You're a natural storyteller, someone who can inspire others through your words, leaving people feeling seen, motivated, or moved. You don't just want to share facts. You want to make people feel something, whether it's through humor, warmth, drama, or conviction. Your voice is a stage, a place to express your soul. But as magnetic as this energy is, it comes with a sensitive underbelly. Your desire to be heard and appreciated can sometimes morph into a fear of rejection or performance anxiety. And when that fear takes over, your voice dims. Your creativity dries up. Your inner critic tells you, maybe I should just keep quiet. At its highest, Mercury in Leo is a voice of confidence, leadership, and love. But to reach that level, you have to heal the shadows that keep you from standing tall in your expression. The shadow side of Mercury in Leo often hides in performance pressure, fear of judgment, and a deep craving for validation. So you may carry the hidden belief of, if I can't express myself perfectly, I shouldn't express myself at all. Or, if my words don't impress or inspire, they're not worth saying. This creates a constant internal tug of war between the part of you that wants to roar and the part of you that wants to run. Sometimes you overcompensate, feeling like you need to be the smartest, the wittiest, the most inspiring person in the room to earn love or respect. Other times, you retreat into silence, feeling like you'll never live up to the image you think you need to be present. This block often comes from early experiences where you felt unseen, unheard, or misunderstood. Maybe you expressed yourself with excitement and someone shut it down, mocked your passion, told you to tone it down, or didn't take you seriously. Over time, that planted the seed of, if I show too much of myself, I'll be hurt or rejected. So now, every time you step toward visibility, whether it's sharing an idea, posting online, speaking up in a meeting, or even just expressing an opinion, you feel that old fear creep back in. So you might dim your light, overthink your words, or shrink your truth to avoid the pain of not being received the way you want. So for you, this block can show up in your daily life in several ways. So you may hesitate to share creative ideas, fearing they won't be good enough or that others will dismiss them. You may over-polish your communication, spending too much time editing emails, posts, or conversations to sound just right. You may feel drained after speaking or presenting because you put so much pressure on yourself to perform. You may get caught in comparison traps, measuring your voice against others who seem more articulate, successful, or confident. You may stay silent in group settings, especially if you sense that people aren't interested or you fear taking up too much space. You may over-rely on external validation to feel like your thoughts or voice are worthy, whether that's likes, compliments, or someone's approval. You may also struggle to fully speak from the heart without worrying how it'll land. This block keeps you in a loop where you crave visibility but fear the vulnerability that comes with it. Now, to begin to heal and align with your Mercury and Leo, the first step is to speak for joy, not just for impact. Mercury in Leo wants to make an impression, but healing begins when you focus on how it feels to express, not just how it's received. Practice speaking, writing, or sharing without any expectation of a reaction. Let yourself feel the joy of self-expression again. So you can record yourself sharing a story, singing, or expressing your thoughts just for you. Reclaim the space where your voice gets to exist for the sake of creating. Next is to validate yourself first. Your voice doesn't need an audience to be worthy. Begin your day with affirmations or mirror work. Speak to yourself as if you're the person you most want approval from. And tell yourself, I love the way I express myself. My words are enough. Watch how this starts to shift your inner dialogue. Next is to detach from outcome and focus on authenticity. Not every word needs applause. Some conversations might feel awkward. Some posts might get less engagement. That doesn't mean your voice doesn't matter. The real win is showing up authentically, letting your truth flow without conditions. So you can practice this by sharing one thing today without editing, overthinking, or worrying about the response. Next is to celebrate your inner child's voice. Remember when you expressed yourself freely as a child through play, creativity, or storytelling. Reconnect with that energy. let your inner child speak up again. Journal as them, dance, or create content that feels fun, not professional. And finally, stop performing and start embodying. Mercury in Leo is strongest when you're embodied, not performing. Instead of trying to impress, let your words flow from your heart. Trust that your authentic voice is magnetic without needing it to be perfect. A great affirmation for Mercury in Leo is, my voice is radiant and real. I speak from the heart, knowing that my truth is enough, and I am worthy of being heard just as I am. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments below. And if you're feeling this and want to go even deeper, I've got some powerful offerings waiting for you in the description box below, which are all designed to help you fully step into your next chapter. And of course, be sure to like, share this video with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury rules Virgo, so this placement is sharp, observant, and naturally detail-oriented. Your voice is designed to clarify, refine, and serve. You speak with intention, thinking carefully before sharing, making sure your words are useful, accurate, and precise. You notice the subtle things others miss, the nuance, the patterns, the small details that hold everything together. Whether through writing, speaking, teaching, or guiding, your Mercury in Virgo can distill complexity into simplicity. But here's the catch. Because your mind is wired for refinement, this shadow can become perfectionism, self-doubt, and constant critique. You may fear that if your words aren't perfect, they aren't worth sharing. And so, your voice becomes trapped in a loop of editing, overthinking, and holding back. At your highest, Mercury in Virgo is a voice of clarity, integrity, and healing. But to fully embody that, you must heal the fear that your voice isn't good enough until it's flawless. The shadow of Mercury in Virgo is rooted in self-criticism, fear of imperfection, and the pressure to always get it right. So you may carry beliefs such as, if I say the wrong thing, I'll lose respect. I have to be the expert, or I shouldn't speak at all. If I can't say it perfectly, it's safer not to say anything. Because Virgo energy is so self-aware and service-driven, you may feel like your voice is only valuable if it's helpful, polished, or absolutely accurate. So you hold back, fearing mistakes, or feeling like you should know more before speaking. This often leads to over-editing your thoughts, revising conversations in your head, or playing small in discussions where you have so much to offer. The deeper wound here is a fear that your voice, as it is, isn't enough, and that perfection is the only path to feeling worthy of being heard. So this block can show up in your day-to-day life in several ways. So you may overthink emails, text messages, or conversations, revising them over and over before hitting send. You may hold back ideas, thinking they aren't fully formed or ready to share. You may self-correct mid-sentence, fearing that what you said wasn't precise or clear enough. You may hesitate to speak up in group settings, feeling like others are more qualified or have more to say. You may experience analysis paralysis, thinking so much about what you could say that you say nothing at all. Or you may judge yourself harshly for any slip-up, mistake, or moment of awkwardness, replaying conversations long after they're done. This block keeps your voice trapped under layers of expectation, always trying to reach a bar that keeps moving higher. Now, to begin to heal and reclaim your voice with your Mercury in Virgo, the first step is to let good enough be enough. Healing starts when you give yourself permission to speak before you feel ready. Your words don't have to be perfect. They just have to be true. Practice sharing without over-editing. Say it once and let it stand. Next is to honor progress over perfection. Your growth is incremental, just like your voice. Instead of striving for flawlessness, focus on showing up consistently. The more you express, the more confidence grows. Next is to challenge the inner critic. When you catch yourself thinking, that wasn't good enough, pause and ask, would I say this to someone that I love? Replace critique with compassion, such as, I shared my truth and that's enough. Next is to ground your voice in service, not approval. Virgo thrives when it serves, but the key is serving from authenticity, not approval seeking. So ask yourself, am I saying this to be perfect or to connect and offer value? This shifts the focus from getting it right to making an impact. And finally, practice imperfect expression. Choose one daily practice where you speak or write without editing. So journal, voice note, or speak aloud messily on purpose. Let yourself be raw, real, and unfiltered, and feel how powerful that is. A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Virgo is, my voice is valuable, even when it's imperfect. I express with clarity, confidence, and compassion for myself and others. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if you're loving this energy and want to keep going deeper, I've linked some powerful offerings below to guide you into your next chapter. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury and Libra. So Mercury is your communication style, mindset, and inner dialogue. It's the way that you process information, make decisions, and share your voice with the world. When Mercury is in Libra, your communication is thoughtful, balanced, and relational. You're a natural mediator, peacemaker, and connector. Your words are often diplomatic, charming, and considerate. You care how your words land, and you have a gift for seeing multiple perspectives. You speak to connect, not compete. Your voice is graceful, tuned into the rhythm of relationships. You instinctively know how to soothe, harmonize, and bring understanding into a room. But here's the challenge. While you excel at keeping the peace, the shadow can trap you into silencing yourself, deferring to others, or watering down your truth just to avoid conflict. You may fear disrupting harmony, so you overthink, over-edit, or avoid tough conversations altogether. At your highest, Mercury in Libra is a voice of graceful truth-telling and connection. But to fully embody that, you must heal the fear of being too much or too confrontational when you speak your mind. The shadow of Mercury in Libra is rooted in fear of conflict, indecision, and the craving for approval. So you may carry beliefs such as, if I speak my mind, I'll upset the balance. I should keep things light to avoid tension. Or, it's safer to stay agreeable than risk being disliked. Because Libra energy seeks connection and harmony, you may censor or soften your truth to maintain peace, even when it costs you your voice. So you may often overthink what to say to ensure it won't upset anyone. You may put others' needs before your own expression, fearing rejection or disapproval. Or you may get trapped in analysis paralysis, unable to choose what to say at all. This creates a loop where your true voice gets lost, replaced by what sounds nice, neutral, or safe. The deeper wound is a fear that speaking your full truth will disconnect you from others, or worse, make you unlikable. This block may show up in your day-to-day life in several ways. So you may hesitate to share opinions that might be unpopular or stir the pot. You may over-apologize or soften your tone even when you're expressing valid feelings. You may get stuck overthinking how your words will be perceived, often talking yourself out of saying what you really mean. You may deflect serious conversations with humor or lightness, avoiding emotional depth or confrontation. You may struggle to make decisions, fearing that choosing one side will alienate others. Or you may often feel unseen or unheard, even though you're constantly adjusting your voice to keep the peace. This block keeps you editing yourself for connection, when what you really crave is to connect as your full self. To begin to heal and reclaim your voice with your Mercury in Libra, the first step is to speak before you overthink. Your natural instinct is to pause and weigh every angle. But healing comes when you practice trusting your first instinct. Let yourself speak up before analyzing it to death. Your truth doesn't need to be perfectly balanced. It needs to be real. Next is to reframe conflict as connection. Instead of fearing that honesty will break relationships, remind yourself that truth builds stronger connections. Practice saying things like, "I respect you enough to be honest with you." This shifts your mindset from avoiding conflict to deepening connection through authenticity. Next is to validate your own voice first. Libra Mercury often looks for external validation. Instead, affirm yourself before you speak. So remind yourself, my voice matters. My truth is worth sharing. This anchors you in self-trust, so you're not speaking for approval, but from integrity. Next is to practice saying what you mean, even if it's uncomfortable. Healing your voice means leaning into discomfort. Start small. Share one honest thought each day that you might normally soften or avoid. Notice how empowering it feels to let your truth stand unfiltered. And finally, own your opinions without apology. You don't have to cushion every statement with, "I could be wrong," or "maybe it's just me." Practice owning your voice by stating opinions without disclaimers. Simply say, "This is how I see it." Your voice deserves to take up space confidently. A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Libra is, "My voice brings truth and connection. I speak with grace and courage, knowing my words deserve to be heard as they are." If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who can also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this spoke to you and you're ready for more, there's a whole lineup of offerings waiting for you in the description box below, which are all crafted to help you rise into your next level. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury and Scorpio. So Mercury governs your thoughts, communication style, and your voice. It's how you process, express, and share your truth. But when Mercury lands in Scorpio, it's not here to keep things surface level. Your words have depth, edge, and emotional gravity. You don't just speak, you penetrate. You see beneath the surface, instinctively sensing what others aren't saying, and your communication carries transformational power. Whether in conversations, writing, or inner dialogue, your voice cuts to the core. You're not here for small talk. You're here to speak truths that heal, expose, and transform. But because your thoughts and words are so intense, the shadow often creeps in with fear of betrayal, emotional exposure, or being too much for others. At your highest, Mercury in Scorpio is a voice of raw truth and deep transformation. But to embody that, you must heal the fear that your voice will either hurt others or leave you too vulnerable. The shadow of Mercury and Scorpio is rooted in self-protection. fear of betrayal, and emotional withholding. So you may carry beliefs such as, if I speak my full truth, I'll lose control. If I open up, they'll use it against me. Or, my words are too intense. Better to stay silent. Because Scorpio energy is so protective of its emotional depths, you might hide your true thoughts and feelings, fearing they'll be misunderstood, rejected, or weaponized. You often hold back the real stuff, only letting fragments of your truth slip out, or nothing at all. Alternatively, when you do speak, it can come out sharp, intense, or even confrontational because you've held it in too long. The deeper wound is a fear that being fully honest will cost you control, safety, or love, so you keep your voice guarded. Now, this block can show up in your day-to-day life in several ways. So you may stay silent when something needs to be said, fearing emotional exposure. You may test people subtly, dropping hints instead of speaking directly. You may fear oversharing, so you undershare, keeping conversations surface level to protect your truth. You may struggle with trusting others enough to fully express yourself. When triggered, your words can become sharp or defensive, cutting before you even realize it. Or you may replay conversations, wondering if you revealed too much or regretting what you kept inside. This block keeps your voice trapped in self-protection, fearing that if you open up, you'll lose power or be hurt. Now, to begin to heal and reclaim your voice, having Mercury in Scorpio, the first step is to reframe vulnerability as power. Your instinct is to guard your truth, but healing begins when you see openness as strength, not weakness. Start by sharing with yourself first. Journal your deepest thoughts. Feel what it's like to express without fear. Next is to speak the truth sooner. You tend to hold things in until they boil over. Practice expressing sooner before it turns into resentment or emotional armor. Let yourself speak in the moment, even if it feels raw. Next is to trust the right people with your voice. Not everyone earns your deep truth, and that's okay. But healing your voice means finding safe spaces where you can practice speaking openly, even if it's just one person or yourself. Next is to own your intensity. Stop apologizing for feeling deeply or speaking honestly. Your voice shakes people awake. That's part of your gift. Practice saying things like, "This might feel intense, but it's my truth." Let your words carry their natural power. And finally, release control over how it's received. Your voice doesn't have to be perfectly timed or perfectly received. The healing is in speaking, not controlling how others respond. Trust that your truth sets you free, even if it makes others uncomfortable. A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Scorpio is, my voice is powerful and true. I express with depth and courage, knowing that my honesty creates healing and transformation. If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who can also benefit from this information, and subscribe for more. And if you're craving even more of this energy, check out the description box below for my next level offerings to help you embody your power. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury is your mindset, communication style, and voice. It's how you process thoughts and share what's on your heart and mind. With Mercury in Sagittarius, your voice was made to expand, inspire, and lead people into bigger visions. Your words aren't meant to be small. You speak with passion, optimism, and a love for truth. You see the bigger picture. You're here to spark adventure, learning, and belief. You don't just communicate facts. You share philosophies, stories, and ideas that challenge limits. But because your mind moves fast and wide, the shadow creeps in with over-explaining, over-promising, or feeling like you have to prove your truth to be taken seriously. You may either speak too much, too fast, or pull back, fearing people won't respect your voice. At your highest, Mercury in Sagittarius is a voice of freedom, wisdom, and expansive truth. But to fully embody that, you must heal the fear that you need to convince or impress to be heard. The shadow of Mercury in Sagittarius is rooted in overcompensation, over-explanation, and the fear of not being understood or respected. So you may carry subconscious beliefs such as, I need to explain everything for people to get it. If I don't sound wise enough, I'll lose credibility. I have to know it all or stay quiet. Now, because Sagittarius energy loves expansion and truth, you may feel pressure to teach or inspire all the time, leaving you either talking too much or holding back altogether when you don't feel like you've figured it all out. This creates a pattern of overloading people with information, losing them in too much detail, as well as feeling like you need to sound impressive or always have the answers, or even withholding your voice when you feel unprepared or unsure. The deeper wound is a fear that your truth alone isn't enough, that you need to prove your worth through words. Now, this block can show up in several ways in your day-to-day life. So you may over-explain or talk in circles, trying to make sure people understand. You may feel frustrated when people don't get it or aren't as excited about your ideas as you are. You may hold back opinions if you feel like you don't know everything about the topic. You may feel pressure to sound wise or inspiring, even when you just want to be real. Or you may doubt yourself after speaking, wondering if you overdid it, overshared, or came off too much. This block keeps your voice stretched between freedom and fear, where you want to express boldly, but feel like you have to filter or force your truth to be heard. To begin to heal and reclaim your voice, having Mercury in Sagittarius, the first step is to let your truth be enough. Your voice doesn't need to convince or convert. Speak your truth without the pressure to prove. Practice saying what you believe clearly and concisely, trusting that your authenticity lands as it should. Next is to speak with, not at. You naturally slip into teacher mode, but healing comes when you invite conversation, not just deliver lectures. Practice asking questions such as, "What do you think?" This shifts you from preaching to connecting. Next is to anchor your voice in the present. Your thoughts want to soar ahead, but your voice finds power in grounding. So before speaking, pause, breathe, and focus on the here and now. And ask yourself, what's the simplest way to say this? Next is to embrace the journey, not just the answer. You don't need to have it all figured out before speaking. Your voice grows with you. Practice sharing from the journey, not just the destination. This makes your words relatable and real. And finally, simplify to amplify. Your voice doesn't lose power when you simplify. It gains clarity. Try sharing one key point at a time, trusting that brevity lets your wisdom breathe. A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Sagittarius is, "My truth is enough. I express with freedom, clarity, and trust that my words inspire exactly as they are." If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends who can also benefit from this information, and subscribe for more. And if you're ready to stop playing small, everything you need to expand, elevate, and evolve is linked below in the description box. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury and Capricorn. So Mercury rules your thoughts, mindset, communication style, and voice. It's how you process information and share it with the world. Now with Mercury and Capricorn, your voice is meant to be grounded, authoritative, and wise. You don't just speak to share. You speak to build, lead, and make an impact. You naturally bring structure, clarity, and responsibility to your words. You think before you speak, choosing your language carefully, wanting it to be meaningful and respected. Your voice carries weight. People listen when you talk because they feel your integrity. But because Capricorn energy values achievement, success, and respect, the shadow can twist your voice into self-censorship, over-editing, or feeling like you haven't earned the right to speak yet. At your highest, Mercury in Capricorn is a voice of leadership, purpose, and lasting impact. But to fully embody that, you must heal the fear that you need to prove your worth before you can speak it. The shadow of Mercury in Capricorn lies in perfectionism, self-doubt, and the pressure to always sound right or worthy. So you may carry subconscious beliefs such as, if I don't sound polished or professional, I won't be taken seriously. I need to prove my value before I speak. I can't show vulnerability. It'll make me look weak. Now, because Capricorn energy is so tied to success and reputation, you might hold back from expressing unless you're absolutely sure it's correct, valuable, or impressive. So you overthink, overprepare, or stay silent, fearing that speaking too soon or without all the facts will make you look unqualified. The deeper wound is a fear that you have to earn your voice, that you're not allowed to just be heard for who you are. So this block can show up in your day-to-day life in several ways. So you may hold back in conversations, fearing you'll sound unprepared or unqualified. You may over-prepare presentations, emails, or conversations, feeling that they must be perfect to be respected. You may censor vulnerable thoughts, believing showing emotion or uncertainty will make you look weak. You may hesitate to share ideas unless they're fully polished or proven, missing chances to express creativity or spontaneity. You also may feel pressure to perform or deliver value, even in casual conversations. And you may self-judge harshly, replaying moments where you could have said it better. This block keeps your voice trapped under layers of expectation and pressure, always trying to meet a standard that feels just out of reach. Now, to begin to heal and reclaim your voice, having Mercury and Capricorn, the first step is to detach your worth from performance. Your value doesn't come from perfection. Practice speaking before you feel fully prepared. Your voice carries weight because it's yours, not because it meets some external standard. Next is to let vulnerability strengthen your voice. Your power isn't in always sounding put together. It's in being real. Practice sharing one vulnerable truth every day, letting yourself be seen without the mask of professionalism. Next is to trust in the process, not just the product. Your instinct is to focus on results, but healing comes when you speak from the journey, not just the outcome. Share what you're learning, not just what you've mastered. Next is to affirm your right to speak. Before important conversations or creative expressions, ground yourself with, I have the right to speak now. My words carry value because they're mine. This helps release the pressure to earn your voice. And finally, embrace good enough expression. So practice expressing without over-editing. Set a time limit for preparing an email, a post, or a conversation. when the timer ends, trust that it's enough. Your words don't have to be perfect to be powerful. A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Capricorn is, my voice carries value because I am worthy. I speak with clarity, confidence, and trust that my truth makes an impact as it is. If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this lit something up inside of you, don't stop here. Dive into the description box below for my next step offerings to help you fully own your growth. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury in Aquarius. So Mercury governs your mindset, communication style, and your voice. It's how you process, express, and share your truth. When Mercury lands in Aquarius, your voice is wired to be original, innovative, and disruptive in the best way. You see what's possible before others do. Your mind is futuristic, open, and wired for change. You speak to challenge the status quo, share new perspectives, and wake people up. Your ideas are often ahead of their time, carrying the spark of social change, collective vision, and truth that doesn't fit into a box. But here's the tension. Because your thoughts and words can feel unconventional or too out there, the shadow creeps in with detachment, fear of being misunderstood, or watering yourself down to fit in. At your highest, Mercury in Aquarius is a voice of liberation, originality, and truth. But to fully embody that, you must heal the fear that your voice is too different to be accepted. The shadow of Mercury in Aquarius is rooted in emotional detachment, fear of judgment, and feeling like an outsider in conversations. So you may carry beliefs such as, no one will understand what I'm really trying to say. My ideas are too weird or too radical to be accepted. If I fully express my truth, I'll be rejected or isolated. Because Aquarius energy is so focused on the future, the collective, and ideas that challenge norms, you may disconnect from your emotional truth, fearing that showing your heart makes you vulnerable. You might intellectualize your words, keeping them safe and surface level, or alternatively, hold back your most powerful ideas, afraid they'll alienate or confuse others. The deeper wound is a fear that being fully yourself will leave you on the outside. So you guard your voice or dilute your brilliance to fit the room. This block can show up in several ways in your day-to-day life. So you may detach emotionally when expressing ideas, fearing that vulnerability will weaken your credibility. You may water down your message, fearing it's too different or radical for others to accept. You may avoid sharing your biggest, boldest ideas, worried they'll be dismissed or misunderstood. You may feel frustrated when people don't get your vision, which leads you to pull back or disengage. You may over-intellectualize using complex language or abstract concepts to avoid feeling exposed. Or you may stay quiet in group settings, feeling like your ideas don't belong. This block keeps your voice floating in the realm of ideas, disconnected from the emotional heart that helps it to land. Now, to begin to heal and reclaim your voice with your Mercury in Aquarius, the first step is to ground your ideas in humanity. Your mind flies high, but healing comes when you bring your voice down to earth. Practice sharing your thoughts through personal stories, emotional connections, or relatable examples. Your truth lands deeper when people can feel it, not just think about it. Next is to trust that your difference is your magnetism. Instead of hiding your uniqueness, affirm, "My voice stands out because it's meant to." The right people will be drawn to your authenticity. That's who you're speaking to. Next is to express before you edit for acceptance. Your instinct might be to tone down your truth, but practice saying it raw first. Let your real voice come out before you adjust it for digestibility. Speak your full truth, then trust it as it is. Next is to lead with connection, not just concept. Remember, people connect to hearts, not just ideas. Share why your thoughts matter to you, not just the concept. Let your passion and belief come through. This is what makes your voice irresistible. And finally, let go of needing to be understood by everyone. Your voice is for the future. Some won't get it yet. Practice expressing anyway, knowing that your message will find its people. You don't need universal acceptance to be valid. A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Aquarius is, "My voice is visionary and real. I express with freedom and heart, trusting that my truth will find the people who need it." If this resonated with you, definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this spoke to you and you're ready to go deeper, there's a whole lineup of offerings waiting for you in the description box below, all crafted to help you rise into your next level. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. Mercury in Pisces. So Mercury is your mindset, communication style, and voice. It's how you process, express, and share your thoughts with the world. When Mercury is in Pisces, communication becomes fluid, intuitive, and emotional. Your voice carries depth, imagination, and healing energy. You speak in stories, images, feelings, often expressing things that can't be fully captured in words. You're tapped into the unseen, with a mind that feels rather than analyzes. Your thoughts are often poetic, spiritual, and connected to the bigger picture. People feel moved by your words, even when they don't fully understand why. But here's the shadow. Because your mind doesn't fit into neat boxes, you may doubt your clarity or fear sounding too vague or out there. You might hold back your voice, thinking it needs to sound more logical or structured to be respected. At your highest, Mercury in Pisces is a voice of compassion, creativity, and soul wisdom. But to embody that, you must heal the fear that your intuitive voice isn't clear or concrete enough to be heard. The shadow of Mercury in Pisces is rooted in self-doubt, fear of confusion, and difficulty grounding your thoughts. So you may carry beliefs such as, I don't know how to explain what I feel. People won't take me seriously if I can't be clear. My thoughts are too scattered or emotional to share. Because Pisces energy is so fluid, sensitive, and non-linear, you may question your own voice, fearing it's not practical enough or won't make sense. So you might instead withhold your deepest thoughts, thinking they'll get lost in translation. You may speak in roundabout ways, trying to soften or dilute your truth. You may feel overwhelmed by your own mind, unsure how to express everything swimming inside. The deeper wound is a fear that your voice isn't enough in the material world, that what you sense or feel isn't valid unless it's logical. So this block can show up in several ways in your day-to-day life. So you may hesitate to share creative or spiritual ideas, feeling they'll be dismissed or misunderstood. You may second-guess your words, feeling they're too vague, soft, or disorganized. You may avoid structured conversations, preferring to float in feelings, but then feel unheard or overlooked. You may struggle to ground your thoughts, feeling foggy or scattered when trying to communicate. You may absorb others' emotions or thoughts, losing track of your own voice. Or you may also withdraw from conversations when you feel overwhelmed by energy or expectation. This block keeps your voice floating, beautiful but ungrounded, when what you really need is to trust and anchor it. Now, to begin to heal and reclaim your voice with Mercury in Pisces, the first step is to anchor your intuition in simplicity. Your thoughts don't need to be complex to be powerful. Practice expressing one simple idea or feeling at a time. Trust that your presence and energy often say more than words. Next is to ground your voice through ritual. So before speaking, writing, or sharing, use rituals to ground yourself. Breathing, placing your hand on your heart, or connecting with nature. This helps channel your thoughts through your body, not just your mind. Next is to trust the emotion behind your words. Your feeling tone is your superpower. Even if your words aren't perfectly clear, your energy communicates. Practice sharing how you feel first, even if it's as simple as, I don't know how to fully explain this, but this is what I'm feeling. That honesty creates connection. Next is to stop over apologizing for being soft or different. You might prejudge your voice as too emotional or not logical enough. Catch yourself when you apologize before speaking. Replace it with self-permission. I trust my voice as it is. And finally, let creativity be your language. Mercury in Pisces thrives when it expresses through metaphor, story, poetry, or art. When words feel limiting, paint the picture. Use images, symbols, or creative analogies. Your voice is meant to feel like a song or a dream. A great affirmation for you having Mercury in Pisces is, my voice is clear, even when it flows like water. I trust my intuition, my creativity, and the healing power of my words. If this resonated with you, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And of course, be sure to like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this lit a spark and you're craving more, be sure to check out the offerings I've linked below. They're all crafted to support your journey into your next season. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching.